Hi there, welcome back to another episode of Speak Up for Blue TV, where you get the latest, greatest, and not so greatest ocean news happening around the world today, and you get my take on it. My name's Andrew Lewin. I'm founder of a website called speakupforblue.com, where we are dedicated to supporting the ocean conservation movement through awareness, education, and action. Welcome to the show today. I'm really happy to talk. Today we're going to talk about back in the day Hawaiians. Yes, that's right. We're going to talk about a study that just came out that revealed that centuries ago, between 1400 and 1800, Hawaiians used to catch 3 times more fish annually than what is actually considered sustainable today. That's 15 metric tons per year they used to catch. Back in the day with no technology, they had different management strategies. And the authors said that the Hawaiians used management strategies that we actually have today, such as closing off, temporary and permanent, bans on certain areas, like marine protected areas. They had restrictions on species, catching certain species and gear, and of course they had catch limits, they had quotas. But their management, systems were intricately planned and managed at the community level, so a bottom-up approach. The villagers actually managed their piece of ocean, so they had a lot to gain from that management. And strategies were passed down from elders to young throughout the centuries, from generation to generation. Now, the major difference in these management strategies is very important. Listen up now. If you're going to listen to any part of this video, this is the part that you want to listen to. The major difference in the management strategies was that the punishment for the infractions against the ocean rules were a lot stricter back then. Now, many of the punishments involved corporal punishment and sometimes even death. This type of punishment won't really fly in today's society. I know that. We can't do that. It's just not going to work. But perhaps the punishment for breaking fisheries laws can be a little more stricter than they are today. For example, one author stated that a person who gets a harsher punishment, for shoplifting sunglasses out of a department store than they would for catching fish of the wrong size or even during the wrong season. Now, if you think about this, the damage done for, catching a fish of the wrong size or constantly catching fishes of the wrong size and during the wrong season, during spawning season or things like that, will actually have a lot more damage in the future, which scientists are predicting that fisheries stocks will collapse. By 2050, we're not going to have the same fish that we're going to have. It's just going to be devastating to us. Compared to, and then you compare that to shoplifting like glasses or things like that. It just doesn't, it's material things. It doesn't make sense. The punishment doesn't really fit the crime. The severity of the consequences of overfishing is a lot worse than just shoplifting a material good, but they get the same, similar punishments. And you got to remember, fishermen are often fined for infractions. It happens every day. But it doesn't look like these infractions are high enough to actually deter some of these fishermen. So, and I know it's difficult to enforce regulations on the ocean. The ocean's big. You can't be on the ocean like you can on land all the time. But there are ways to overcome this type of challenge, and one way to overcome this challenge is to mandate fishing boats to have these GPS units on all the time. And some countries have actually done that to see patterns of where fishermen trawl. Now, a GPS can not only tell you where the fishing boats go, but they can also tell you at what speed they travel at. Now, that's very important, and that information is valuable because, and I just found this out a couple years ago, that when a boat is traveling at 8 or 9 knots, a fishing boat is traveling at 8 or 9 knots, it most likely is going from station to station, from one fishing area to another, or from a fishing area to the dock, or dock into a fishing area, whatever. It's going about 8 or 9 knots. But when it's a trawl fisherman, when the nets are in the water, it actually goes at about 2 or 3 knots. It has to go slower because one, of the resistance to the water, and two, it wants to catch as many fish or shrimp or whatever it's catching as possible. So, fisheries managers will actually be able to tell where and when these fishermen are actually fishing in either good or bad areas, protected or non-protected areas. So, this is very important, and GPSs are not that expensive. They're easy to fit. They just have to mandate them and make sure that they regulate this type of behavior. But with or without sophisticated technology, many researchers, including the ones in this study, actually believe that or suggest that a community-based management approach is best to manage local resources. And especially the local community that will manage these resources are the best to manage it, because they have the most to gain from proper management, and they have the most to lose from improper management. But I want to know what you think. Do you think community-based management would be best? That is, the local village or local community actually manage their own resources? Or do you think a government, like a top-down type government management system is better to manage? Let me know in the comments below. I think this is a really important issue, and I know I've mentioned this every episode, but this is a really important issue because this comes down to management strategies and how things are managed. And some of these management strategies work in some places and others work in other places, or they won't work in other places. But it's good to discuss them all. It's good to find out what people think, non-scientists, non-conservationists think about this kind of stuff and how it affects them. If you have a personal story about using conservation-based or community-based management or even government management, let me know in the comments, and let other people know in the comments, and we can get a good discussion going. But also, if you want to see some of our stuff before, you can click to the annotation above on my right to see our previous episode. You can click above on my left to subscribe to the channel, so you get all the channels in your inbox or on your YouTube homepage whenever we publish them out. We publish about 3 or 4 a week. And also, of course, you can click on the annotation below to see our channel and everything we've ever produced on YouTube, which is now up to, I think, 33 episodes, and counting. Of course, we keep producing through, like I said, 3 or 4 per day or per week. And yeah, let's keep sharing. Share with your family, your friends, your social networks, and let's get people aware, educated, and out there to act on how we can better manage our ocean. That's the end of our show today. I will see you next time. My name is Andrew Lewin, founder of SpeakUpForBlue.com. Happy conservation.